Hello, everyone. Today I'm bringing you guys something very different than my norm. People, once they saw the black and white history video a couple days ago, asked me if I could go through some of my personal favorite, series or games that I played that really are most meaningful to me. And this happens to be the series that probably started my tenure as a genuinely good slash known tournament player. So I figured I'd give you this series first, and then maybe I'll branch into some other people's series in future days. I'm just commenting over and discussing some of the more historically relevant tournament games of the last handful of years. This might not be the most relevant series, but it is one that I held near and dear. And let's get into why. So this was SmogonTour 18 playoffs. I was the 15th seed, but that was through tiebreak. I beat Crystal in the tiebreak 2-1. He timed out in a black-white game. I think I was going to win that game probably, but it was really too early to tell. Then I ended up winning in 3 games. I won DPP. I lost XY. So yeah, I had like 30, 31 points, and it was like the tiebreak point, and I got McMeghan the 2 seed, and X-Ray beat Stathicus in that tiebreak and got Blue the 1 seed. This was back when those two pretty much dominated every single season. So yeah, and then I at the time this is November 15th, 2014. So to put it in some perspective, I was very young back then. I had just turned 16. I was 16 and a month and a half old. Now I'm 21. So I've been playing this game and more relevant in the tournament community for a long time. But at this point, I wasn't picked in SPL. I played a couple games in World Cup. That was about it. Um, 2 years, the 2 years prior World Cup, I was in Metro's bench when we made playoffs. I didn't do much though. And that year during World Cup, I went 2-1 on Central and XY. But I was predominantly a PO player, mostly known for black and white underused or black and white overused. And I guess I played some XY, but I wasn't really as versatile as now. Wasn't as good as I was now. This was the first series where I really had to prepare thoroughly. This was like the birth of tryhardism in the culture of Finchinator, if you will. And I really gave this series my all though. And at the time, my team building was definitely not where it is now. As you can see from this team, and Black White was completely different back then, though. Again, and I mean, you probably noticed in the Black White history video, Black White was very different. So I'm bringing you guys the whole series. It's not just going to be Black White. It's also going to be game two and potentially game three if it goes that. But I'm not going to spoil that for you. So this is game one, me versus McMeghan. I am ridiculously favorite to lose. McMeghan is the strong favorite as the 2 seed and also just as one of the best players all time going into this tournament. So yeah, and I'm playing for a chance to maybe be a SmogTour champion, SmogTour 18, which had a very stacked field. But also, I'm playing to hopefully get noticed and get picked in something like SPL. So a lot is on the line here. So I'm bringing a team that is kind of a brain balance. I wanted to use a rain team with Thrakion because I like the matchup Thrakion had with him. It ended up looking like this. I'm not sure I could really go into my mindset a ton. McMeghan used a lot of bulkier shit at that point in time, and this is kind of a bulkier team, but he had Mew, which actually kind of shut me down, truth be told. I also really wanted to use Surf Guard Chomp because it in Rain was able to kill most of his Skarmory, as I think he had an affinity for a bit more physically defensive invested one as opposed to especially defensive. And also, I ran some speed and taunt on my own Skarmory to shut down his Skarmory as well. And both those things open up for like a physical cleaner like Terrakion, and also things like Celebi to take advantage of that. So yeah, it was a mixed Garchomp, and I think it was a taunt Skarmory. So let's get on into that. My team, I don't really remember all the sets otherwise. I think it might have been an offensive Politoed, but maybe it was just defensive. I think Scarf might have been on Keldeo. Yeah, Scarf was Keldeo, and I don't remember if Kraken was banned or set up. I think banned. And Celebi was just some Baton Pass variant. As for him, he had a really interesting team where both were kind of decimated by opposing spikes, truth be told. He had Mew, though, which is really good with taunt recovery moves. Rotom Wash, Pivot, it could be Scarf, Thrakion, could be Scarf, could be Breaker, Hippowdon for rocks, and Skarmory and Rosary a bit of a defensive spiker core. So yeah, let's get on into it. I'm going to lead with my Politoed to get my Rain up, and he's going to lead with his Mew. And right off the bat, he's going to go Rotom W, and I think I'm going to predict him just to say, and if I have a Hydro Pump for some damage, safe play, I'm going to get that off. And now I'm just going to go to Celebi right off the bat, as he goes for Will-O-Wisp. It's a fine play. I think he was scared of me going Chomp on a Volt Switch. So yeah, and now I think he's scared out as he goes Skarmory. And I'm just going to Baton Pass out, predicting that as I get my Garchomp in here. And now I'm going to go for the Surf, but he's going to reveal himself to be really special defensive, which I didn't anticipate. But he's going to phase me out, being fearful of a potential Swords Dance. So it actually works out for me, and I predict the switch to Rose Raid. I get an Ice Beam off, but it reveals itself to be a really bulky Rose Raid, which pretty much all are, I know you have ever used. And he's going to go for Toxic Spikes, and that's going to be a big problem for me, is it hits 4 Pokemon on my team, and I have no removal. So right off the bat, I'm like, fuck, this matchup looks bleak. But it's fine. I get my Rock Chip, and he's no way of getting those off the field. And now he's going to go into his Mew, and hopefully here I can get a Baton Pass off, but unfortunately he's going to be quicker with Taunt, so this plus Toxic Spikes looks really dire to me. I'm going to have to play one hell of a game. I go Politoed knowing full well that it's going to be able to hopefully tank a couple hits. It's not completely bulkless, I believe. So he's going to go Rotom here, and I'm going to go for the Toxic, predicting it. I'm going to nail that Rotom with the Toxic, so that's good. At least he's poisoned as well as I am. And now I'm going to go to Garchomp, predicting the Volt Switch, because I need to block that. And I got that right, thankfully. He predicted me to just go Celebi. And I didn't want to be in the passive, so I got that right. It's good. And now I know he's in Draco range, but for whatever reason, I go back to Celebi as he goes for a Pain Split. Maybe he, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was in Draco range anyway. But it's fine for me because it let me get a recover off, but it did invite his Skarmory into the battle to recover up, which was unfortunate for me, as everything I have to break through it is vulnerable to poison. So I'm going to probably have to end up going to my own Taunt Skarmory, which is a bit faster. So I'm going to go right to that. He's going to go for Brave Bird, predicting me perhaps to stay in or go for like a Nasty Plot and Baton Pass that, or even get Keldeo in. I guess Keldeo or Politoed, both of them took a big down from Brave Bird. I feel like that was a bit unnecessary for him to go for that. But he is still recovering from leftovers, so that's fine. I'm going to get the faster taunt off if he tries to spike. And now I'm going to go for spikes again as he brings in Mew. That's fine for me, ultimately, because things are poisoned. And now I'm going to try and predict him to like get Jute and like attack or double switch or go for Wisp, and I go for taunt. Now, in full worst case, that just doesn't matter. I'm going to go to Celebi here, take a crit Psychic. That's fine. Now I'm going to predict him to taunt, and he's going to predict me to stay to switch. So I'm just going to go for recover. That's fine. And now I know he's going to taunt, so I go to Keldeo. And on this turn, he goes for the taunt, so I got that right. And now Keldeo is in a pretty threatening position with the Rose Raid having to take both hazards being a little bit chipped and Rotom W also being weakened. I do connect with the Hydro Pump there for 40%, and that is Scarf damage, as you can see. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss this one, but for whatever reason, I really didn't need to risk that, honestly, but it worked out really well for him. He's going to get the miss, so it's going to preserve it. And now I'm going to probably die to poison plus sand, I believe. Yep, so it's going to be a 6-5 game. It was a really unfortunate miss, because having that would have been clutch, but it's fine. I'm going to get spikes if he's going to predict me, did not taunt and get rocks up. Nice play by him. I'm going to just spike again. He's going to Ice Fang, revealing that he has Ice Fang. That's fine. I get Lefty's recovery, so not a big deal. And I'm going to taunt here, and I think he's just going to Ice Fang again, but no, he Earthquakes for some unknown reason. I think he just switched for Freeze for him there, but he goes for Earthquake again, and I go for Whirlwind. He gets his Skarmory in, and now I'm kind of in this position where, while I did miss a second Hydro, his Rotom W is in range for Rock, so I actually can kind of solo him with Skarmory, if not for the faster Mew. So if I play my Politoed right and my 2 faster Pokemon right that can get poisoned right, then I'm kind of in business. But I get Rose Raid there. I think I might be fearful of Hidden Power Fire. It turns out that he's just resting, which is kind of weird. I go Whirlwind here, and I get Hippowdon in, and I could taunt that to force some damage, which is really cool. I'm just hoping that I don't get Rotom W, because that would kind of end the cycle. I really want to just keep getting like Rose Raid, Skarmory, Hippowdon, but he finally decides to fodder off the Rotom W to cut the bleeding, which is a really smart play by Roro there. And now he's going to go to his Mew. He takes a ton of damage as I go Garchomp here, and he goes for taunt. And I'm like, okay, maybe if it's like really physically defensive, I could do the damage with Draco. I don't even think I had a chance if that was the case, but I go for Earthquake the first time, and he goes for Soft Boiled. At this point, I'm just fishing for crits, I guess. I guess maybe I thought if you special defense Earthquake into a KO, it'd be more reliable because they're not killing it. I think that might have been it. I go Earthquake again. He's soft boiled. It's fine. At this point, I think I'm just trying to fish for an opportunity to get my Politoed in. I go Draco there, and he goes soft boiled again. But this should allow me to get my Politoed, and I believe. So yeah, I go Politoed. I take the combination of rocks and poison, but now I believe I go Resto Chesto. Am I Resto Chesto? Yeah, I go for Rest. So I get this all the way back up, which is really good for me. And recovering that is good. And his Rose Raid is going to take a ton of chip there. He might be able to get up another layer of Toxic Spikes if he really wants, but that's not a big deal. He's just going to go for Giga Drain, actually, which is completely fine for my Skarmory and I. We don't mind it. It bounces off pretty much. There's just a bit more than leftovers. There's a 10% than 11%. And I Whirlwind him out, and I get the Skarmory. At this point, keep in mind his music's 78, not at full. I think here I just go for taunt. Yep, and he stays in and tries to spike up, but I'm not going to allow that opportunity now, and I'm just going to Whirlwind again as he Brave Bird, so he gets a little more recoil on himself as well, which he's not going to be able to regain from leftovers in that turn. And now Powdon comes in, and that's great because weakening that could potentially open up holes for my Terrakion. So yeah, that's definitely an ideal Whirlwind, as I'm going to taunt. He's going to, what I believe Ice Fang, he's going to miss this turn, which didn't really matter unless he got a freeze. But if he did, that would have opened up the floodgates for sure. He's going to go for it once more, and this time I'm going to get the Whirlwind out to the Terrakion of his. I'm pretty sure that it's Scarf on his team, but I think I am fearful of other sets. So I'm just going to Roost off, and that damage does really do Scarf, because if it was... Oh, no, I just Whirlwind being scared of Swords Dance. I'm not sure if that was the play ultimately, but he wasn't Hidden Power Fire and Rose Raid, so I think it was fine because I wasn't dying. And now I just taunt here again. He's going to Earthquake predicting Roost. But yeah, I mean, I can just Leftovers to cover up. So I think I'm playing this fairly safely at this point. He Ice Fangs now, predicting the Whirlwind. He gets that right, but it's not going to really matter a ton because without a crit on Stone Edge or close combat or a couple flinches with Rockstar, I think he'd need two. I'm going to be in a fine position. And now I'm going to predict him to get greedy and go Mew. And I nail that perfectly. Because he wanted to get Mew in on the Roost, and I did not allow that to happen. And now his Mew dies to Hazard, so now I pretty much win the game with this Skarmory. I think that McMeghan probably kind of tossed that out. I think I still had a pretty decent chance if I got Polytoading again safely. It was at full health, and my track end could have potentially cleaned. But McMeghan sort of made my winning an inevitability as opposed to just a possibility, if you will. So yeah, now the Skarmory is pretty much able to solo him. And if you ever want to see Skarmory sweep in a really big setting like a SmogTour playoffs game, then here you have it. I'm going to be able to win the game. I think I just won 4-0. I think I was still kind of fearful of Hidden Power Fire at this point. And he did, in fact, have it. So he just didn't jump before. So it turns out that before I probably did get a bit overly aggressive. But it's fine because he didn't crit. He didn't have Stun Spore. And more importantly, the track end didn't crit here. So I was able to survive that onslaught of offensive attacks, of offensive moves from him. I don't know what I'm saying at this point. Holy shit. Yeah, and I think after this one, I'm more likely than not out of critical hit range. So he could continue to go for that, especially at a higher roll there, but it wouldn't have even killed with a crit. And at this point, I could probably stall him out of close combat if I wanted to use 4 left, but alternatively, I could just phase him around. And here, I'm going to go for the Roost again, just not wanting to risk like running crits. That's fine, he gets Skarmory in. And now he goes Rose Raid. I think he's just trying to last month something together. I don't know, but he gets it in a taunt. Now you know, okay, I have one more chance to maybe crit Hidden Power Fire, but I don't even give him that chance as I just go Celebi. And I think from here, I just Baton Pass out. Do I? I'm faster than it. I just go for the Psychic, knowing, okay, I can just reset the taunt later. His Hippo is in range, Terrakion dies, and Skarmory can roost up, but it doesn't have taunt of its own, and it's Brave Bird, so I could beat it with my own Skarmory, or I could just go Politoed and not really risk anything anyway. He's going to like to go for Roost there, that's fine. I Hydro here, and it's a 74, which is a ton of damage. He's going to go for Spikes, finally getting them up, but at this point, he's in range for a follow-up one, and I'm able to connect. Either way, I would have won the game with Skarmory. But yeah, so I'm going to be up 1-0 against McMeghan. I was like, wait, holy shit, this random PO dude is beating McMeghan. Is it possible? There's still 2 games left in this set, so keep that in mind. But this is a really good first showing for me. I was really happy with this first game. I was feeling comfortable at this point, not really over too much pressure. So I was like, okay, this is the ideal start to the game. As you see, there were a lot of spectators. I'd never beforehand played with this many spectators. Now I do it regularly, but back then I was like, holy shit. So you have a ton of people, but now we're getting on the game too. Keep in mind that at this point, SmogonTour was black and white, DPP, and XY. XY was the most common generation. It wasn't even RS, it was XY, I believe. So DPP was game 2. He chose that. So let's get into it. I was using a pretty offensive team around, I think, Paso, Magma, Boomtran, and attempts to like lure things like Blissey and Starmie. Unfortunately, I lead Zapdos, and he's going to reveal that he's a plus speed Flygon with Stone Edge and Choice Band. So he won a speed tie there, and on top of winning a speed tie, he also connected. I would have killed him with Hidden Power Ice otherwise. It's a really lucky start for him. But I think he didn't really expect me. I think he expected me to be Hidden Power Flying. I was an offensive variant with Hidden Power Ice, actually. But yeah, he won the 50-50 speed tie, plus got the roll, but it's fine. At this point, I just bring in Tran, and I try and just get Rocks up, I believe, or do I Magma? I don't remember if this is Rocks Tran as well. It is Rocks Tran. Oh yeah, it's Rocks, Magma Storm, Hidden Power Grass, and Explosion. So I go Flygon here as he goes for his own Rocks, and now I think I just U-turn out. He's going to actually predict that, staying in, and I'm going to go to my own Tar here as he simply goes for a Fire Blast and misses. I think he's predicting a Steel type in the back, which is fine. Now I have my own Tar, and he goes to Flygon, and I'm going to go for Earthquake, predicting him to stay in, which he is all over, but Now I go to U-turn, knowing that he's probably not going to Earthquake. He goes for U-turn. That worked out. I think I probably could have pursued it for run to a combo stab, but that's fine. With my trend in here, I see he's melodic. And he goes for Hydro, but I'm Paso Berry. He's on offensive melodic. I just hidden power grass into it. In hindsight, I probably should have exploded, but that's fine. I was really new to DPP at this point. He recovers and lets me get that explosion anyway. So I'm going to take that out, and it's going to be a 5-4 game in his favor. His timer was getting really low, so I think I said that in the chat. And now I get Fly Gun in on Tar, and here I U-turn again. I think he doesn't pursue me. Oh, I think I predicted Superpower this time or Earthquake, and I get the Star Immune one, so that worked out really well. So now I feel like I'm actually in a decent position. I have some leverage to potentially win this matchup despite the disastrous turn one. I go for the Rapid Spin, knowing fully well that I should be able to stomach a crunch because I'm a really bulky Star Immune. I think I might have actually been plus defense on this, or just not max speed. But then I'm going to take it out with a Thunderbolt afterwards as well. So that's going to put us in a 4-4 position with my Star Immune really low, but rocks off the field. Then he reveals Rose Red, which is not the Pokemon I wanted to see. I'm going to recover here as he goes for the Grass Knot and takes me out. I couldn't really do anything to it besides fire off a weak Hydro. I might have been actually Surf on this team. So that's no big deal. I finally go to Flygon here, and I'm going to U-turn out to my Lucario, but he's going to reveal his Stun Spore, which sucked because I was an Agility Lucario, and I could have potentially swept him had I not been paralyzed there. That's fine. He's going to go for Hidden Power Fire as well, and I'm going to get fully paralyzed when I would have taken that with Ice Punch, but again, I don't really have any right to complain. I'm just trying to stay quiet and show that I can be as good a player as I possibly can. At this point, it's going to be a 4-2 game in his favor with 2 Pokemon revealed on his side. I'm just going to lock in Outrage and pray that for some reason he brought a Steel this team, but obviously it's not going to be the case. He's going to bring out a Jirachi here. I'm going to go for Outrage once, and I'm going to only do 25% as he goes for Psychic. It's not able to take me out, but it seems like it's actually a Super Rachi, so I think here I go Tar. Yeah, I go Tar here on the Grass Knot, which is a really good play by him. It should 2-KO me, and given that roll, it does indeed look like 2-KOs me, but I'm actually, oh, was this? Yeah, this was Scarf Tar, so I get the Earthquake off, and I'm like, okay, maybe I could win with my Flygon, as it's faster than his Flygon, it takes his Jirachi, so it all comes down to his last Pokemon, and it happened to be a Rotom Watch, so I'm going to need a critical hit here, and I only do 70%, and he's Shadow Ball, so he's going to be able to take me out, and he's going to win 2-0 in a game that actually turned out to be really close. Had turn 1 went differently, or maybe I didn't get paralyzed, it could have been different, but I doubt it, because I wasn't even Extreme Speed or Bullet Punch on that Lucario, so I don't think that would have made a difference, but had turn 1 went differently, it would have been a different game, but I'm not sure I would have won anyway. He would have played differently, that's for sure. So yeah, well played there by McMeghan. So it's going to be 1-1 now between Roa and I. And we're going to go to game 3, the XY game, and here we are. I brought a balanced team. I think it was Crocoon, Life Orb Gengar. I really liked Life Orb Gengar against him and Coon against him, so I kind of tried to fit those two together. And I think it was also Tank Chomp, if I recall. I can't remember if this was Scarf Latias or not, but I knew he wouldn't bring a Tar. He never really used Tar at this point. I think he actually used Sun. His only Tar team was like a Sun team or something like that, and I knew he wouldn't. And I just saw a lot of Coon weaknesses, and I also thought the Ghost was really spammable against him. It turned out that he wasn't super weak to Coon, but the Ghost weakness was there. So here we are, game 3. This team's kind of ratchet for me at the time, but it's actually sort of standardized besides Gengar in modern days, ironically enough. And he's using a bulky offense to fire with grass of Venusaur, presumably Mega, Greninja, Heatran. He also has Thundurus, Gliscor, and Latios aside that, so it's pretty cool. So let's get on into the game 3 of the set. And I was getting pretty nervous at this point. I lead with Tar here. I think I go Latias, knowing that he's probably just going to Giga Drain. And right off the bat, he does indeed go for the Giga Drain. It's going to do 18%, so it's like the offensive Venusaur. Offensive max special attack tank Venusaur was kind of standout at that time. And I'm just going to go for Draco there. I'm going to do 28%, 27%. So I'm Life Orb, Latias with Healing Wish, which makes a lot of sense with Gengar and Suicune at the time, I guess. And I'm going to go Guard Chomp and try and get my rocks up. He's going to miss a Toxic, which is really unfortunate for him. Sorry, McMeghan. And now I think I just go for rocks as he goes to Latios, and that's fine. It's really trappable, of course. So I go Tar here, and he's going to go Draco. He's going to do a chunk, and Sand is going to run out. So I'm going to have to play smart here. Thankfully, he doesn't know that I'm Scarf, so I feel a bit more confident in going for Crunch there. So I get that Crunch off, I take him out, and now I'm at 5-4. Now I go Pharaoh, knowing he's not going to hit Power Fire. Keep in mind, this is Protein Greninja. This was allowed at this point XY. He's going to reveal his Life Orb Hydro Pump, and now I'm going to double out to Suicune here. I'm predicting Hidden Power Fire, or at least scouting for it. And he's going to reveal that he is, in fact, Hidden Power Fire. It's going to just shrug off. It's only going to do 13%, and he's taking more Life Orb than he's really dealing out damage. I leftovers recover that. Now he's going to go to Venusaur. I think I actually doubled the Latias being scared of a grass move. Just kind of pivoting around, and I also happen to get the Venusaur there, so I go for Psyshock. Okay, chip on this strand is huge because it opens up the game for Shadow Ball spamming and Latias and Ferrothorn, so I get that chip there. He's going to go for Rocks. I think now I'm going to predict him to go Gliscor. as he goes for a roar there. Really weird turn. I get a Dragon Tail off for 10%, so whatever. That's fine. Now he's going to go Venusaur, doubling in from Greninja. That's signaling that his Greninja is walled by my Suicune, so that's fine. Um, with this, I go Gengar, and okay, I could potentially threaten it. He's going to go for Giga Drain for 32%, which is a ton. But since he's offensive, I'm actually able to 2KO it. He's going to just go hard to this score, knowing, okay, it's not really useful against a team with the Gengar and Latias and Suicune, as well as Ferroseed that might have Leech Seed. And combination of Shadow Ball and then a Sludge Wave after that, saying, okay, he might go Greninja and try and get Pesky. Either Greninja is a roll to kill. He's going to take him out. Now he goes Greninja to revenge kill me. He's going to go for Dark Pulse. I figured, okay, whatever he has to hit Goon here, he might go for. So I'll just go Pharaoh to sponge it. I don't really need Pharaoh since he's got Fire Move on this. Probably Fire Move on Venusaur, I can't kill it. Thunderous is probably Focus Blast or even Nasty Blade Power Flying, and he's trying to kill me. So I feel pretty useless with Fire Throw at this point, so I'm just going to dispose of it. In hindsight, maybe getting a Spike would have helped, but that's fine. This allows me to get Suicune in safely without having to take a Dark Pulse and simply go for what I believe would be a safe Scald, as he goes for a Life Orb, Dark Pulse, and does 32.2%, leaving me at around half health after leftovers, exact 50 exactly. And now he's going to go Venusaur. I feel like I've got a pretty good spot right now. I'm going to go Garchomp here. He's going to go Sludge Bomb and not get the poison. He's going to go Giga Drain now, as I just go for a Dragon Tail, simply trying to get him out of the way. And now I'm going to get Heat Trainer, which is ideal. And now I'm going to predict him to go Thunderous or Venusaur, and I'm going to go for Dragon Tail as he goes for Roar again. So it seems as if he just really didn't mind the Heat Train at all, dying. And now I'm going to let go to Thunderous, and here comes a play for the game. I'm going to go to my ScarfTar, and if I'm able to get the hit off on this, I'm going to be able to win. He goes for the Thunder Wave, and he gets it. And now I'm in a really bad position at this point. I say good game because I pretty much lose to this Thunderous on the spot. I was in Hidden Power Ice range. I could try and stall it, but I could also lose to the others as well. So he's going to take this out. As you see, Life Orb and Sand are racking up, but the Gengar is slower and dies. This is slower and dies. So ultimately, he's not going to be able to win. He's not going to be able to win single-handedly, but he will potentially with another. Actually, Sand might run it out. Sand's not going to run out. And I'm like Gengar last Pokemon hoping. He took forever in that turn for whatever reason. And now, oh yeah, now Sand's gonna run out there, and yeah, he just wins. So yeah, he's gonna take himself out of Life Orb as he kills the last Pokemon, but that's gonna be the wrap. So had I not gotten fully paralyzed, I would have won this set, but it was a pleasure playing him regardless. And I really didn't want to make a big deal out of it because at that point I had the community on my side. At the going into the series, I was just this random PO dude, but once I get this, like everyone's like, oh damn, it could have upset McMeghan. This guy could actually play. Go figure. And I was like, nah, good games, no big deal, just happy to play. And I was really genuinely happy to play relevant games. And then I got picked in SPL, and I'm gonna do kind of like a history of my time playing competitive Pokemon, and we'll get through this in depth. But I haven't really looked back. I've been relevant on Smogon since. I've been having so much fun being a part of this community and playing competitively. So it's been a blast, and I couldn't be more appreciative of everyone that's been along my side all of those years since then. McMeghan's one of these dudes as well. Like, yeah, he might have gotten lucky here, but McMeghan's one of a good friend of mine. I've seen him play over the years. He's one of the best players of all time, if not the best player of all time. He's just a really good player, and I'm so glad that he's part of this community as well. So yeah, no bad blood, of course, for that. Really fun series, and I was glad to bring this to you guys. It was kind of a blast in the past. I mean, again, this series happened 5.5 years ago. It's crazy thinking about it, because I remember it like it was yesterday. I was like a junior in high school. Yeah, I was a junior in high school. Holy crap. And now here I am, a senior in college, still playing this game, growing a beard, sitting in my basement recording videos. Go figure. But yeah, let's finish. I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.